Hello everyone watching. I've got two lovely friends here that I actually got to meet in Seattle, which was really awesome to go from chatting online and still saying online usernames to them in person, even when you're going out to get lunch. But that's just the way it is with card games. And yeah, we both sort of we talk a lot about deck building for Blue Steel, and it always seems like a really good conversation we have it. So I thought maybe we could try capture some, and some people could learn some just from watching and having a good listen. So I'll start with Jack Shadow in the top right, who did very well at Seattle. Were one of the Blue Steel people who managed to make the cut. But yeah, just talk us through sort of why you like Blue Steel and how your runs have gone really, and how your achievements are.
Yeah, so I've been playing Blue Steel since that one. I've did some various like local tournaments, 1Ks, 2Ks, stuff like that, and then got to the DLCs. And four of the five DLCs I've gone to have taken Blue Steel to it, and in all of them I've gotten either a Let It Go or a top 64 placement. Um, so just love the deck. The play style meshes well with me every time I try to play something without like Fishbone Quill. I just like I can't handle it. It's too slow at that point for me.
Yeah, entirely. I try to play other decks, but it's when you're on the draw and you've got like four ink and they've got eight or something, and you just think, why am I playing this deck when I could be playing a deck that's got a Fishbone Quill? But yeah, Seattle sort of going to that. How did you did the Friday event as well? How confident were you sort of that and then the Swiss?
Yeah, so I did the Friday event. That one I went 0-1 for drop, and
Oh,
I was playing no wheel version of that or no whole new world version of that. There just to test it out, see how I liked it. Turns out I don't know how to win on the draw with that deck, so I swapped back over to regular whole new world version of Blue Steel for a particular list that I had been iterating on with both of you guys and a few other people. Managed to make top cut with it. Uh, and got knocked out in top 64 by my first red blue opponent of the weekend.
Yeah, no, I had a very similar experience, but I tried to play wheel, which I was going to play no wheel in the main event, but sometimes that Friday event can really do the other thing and spray your confidence into playing the deck that you didn't think you were going to play for the main event. But awesome, yeah, awesome, and really respected, especially in 20 law as well. I know you're always in there helping everyone out. But go to Bad Vegas then. Um, a Mickey winner, really, in our midst as well. But do you want to talk us through your love for Blue Steel and your achievements as well?
Yeah, I played a little bit of it like at the end of set one when when we were relying on Beast Mirror for draw. That was a time. Uh, and then when set two came out, I played Steel Song for a little bit, and then I would watch Sky on Twitch, and he kind of like got me to get back into Blue Steel after that, and I haven't played anything else since then really. I went to um, the Fort Worth challenge. That was my first one, and I ended up getting like seventh place there or whatever. And then I went to Vegas and Seattle and did not really perform very well there at either of those. So that was a little bit of a letdown, but I mean, I can't really complain all that much with the invite. So
Yeah, invite already secured. That's pretty.
yeah.
How did Seattle go for you then? Entirely, you played the Friday as well. I think you also played. No,
No,
you
Will,
played.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. How was that?
I, my plan Friday was to play no wheel in the constructed and kind of decide which one I wanted to take to the main event. It didn't go bad. I think I ended like three, 1, and 4. I don't remember specifically, but it was low enough to not get tickets, so I was just like still on the fence about it. And I figured I just didn't have enough reps to be comfortable on it, and I just swapped back to wheel for the main event. I didn't really regret it that much, but it obviously didn't go well. I went my first two matches were 2-0, and then I got 0 or 2-0'd. And then it was just like split city after that, so it just didn't end up where I wanted to be. But
Yeah,
I don't regret it too much.
yeah, that can be the upsetting thing with best of two, with most players walking away being upset because they're either going to get 2-0'd or split. And when you're trying to work towards a cut, that's not really going to be enough for you. But that's just the
Yeah.
format we've got right now. But yeah, great guys. And sort of set six, of course, we're all brewing together on that. And the main thing we did testing the other night was sort of wasn't really with set six cards, but one of them did shine through was Wreck-It Ralph. Is that one we're both sort of excited for?
I love that
Yeah,
card. Everybody is so low on that card, and I think it's fantastic.
I
yeah, we're aligned on this, so it's
Yeah.
the two of us versus everyone else. That's normal for us, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's all similar with Arthur, so it's fine. It's whatever.
Yep,
what is
exactly.
the sort of joy? Because I imagine if you just ramp and throw it on the board, you'd probably threaten they wouldn't play a location. Of course, 5 lore from it questing and 2 from breaking something is great, but I just feel like once it's turned sideways, there's no way they're not going to just trade and kill it. But maybe in a
Right,
wheel
but
list, you get
it's
to use Chiempo.
yeah. I mean, it's the same thing with Ariel. You're gonna quest once with Ariel, and there's nowhere they're letting it live, right? So
Mhm.
I think there are situations you run into with Ariel where it's not going to quest for 5. And Ralph can, because you almost certainly have at least a popsicle on board. And the threat of being able to take out a castle or library or whatever, I think is enough to warrant the play, because they have to play around it. I mean, Elsa makes it a problem, the 5-drop, but like I think that's good enough to be viable.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah, I
I think
agree.
it being a 4/4 as well is a little bit more. I think if Ariel was a 4/4, just the fact that she's got ward, she's a closer, and then she could trade with pretty much anything on the board. But Wreck-It Ralph being a 4/4 is also really awesome as well. Yeah, no, that's one of the awesome cards that we're sort of looking at. And of course, Sail and the Azurite Sea, which you've both seen me go, that's the best card in set six. To this is probably the worst card in set six, as I have to
And
keep
then back
rereading
to
what it does. Yeah, and then
and then
and
back to
then
the
I
best
think
card.
today I'm back on it's pretty good because I realized it's just cycles a card.
Right.
Is the worst thing it will do. But yeah, that's just being the Bell effect, which is ink and additional ink. Like, I mean, do you think that's going to be the new alt ramp card for Blue Steel?
Um, it's an interesting question.
Mm,
Early testing, the card is definitely powerful. It leads to some very interesting things that you can do. On the flip side, there's oftentimes, especially in the wheel version, right, where I get a couple wheels in my hand, I want to get rid of one, or I get a couple grab your swords early and I don't want both of those, or just things like that. That like, um, Sail's going to draw me another card, but if it draws me another uninkable card, sometimes that's a downside, right?
mm,
It's not a downside that it drew me a card, but it might have been better to just ink the sail in the first place.
mm.
Um, so there's definitely it's not free real estate in the sense of like, oh, this is just a straight upgrade over Mickey or Tipo in that regard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of times you'll, at least in Blue Steel, I feel like we're gonna end up missing the body more often than not. But I mean, it could end up being so good that it's like you can't not play this card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had some games the other night where it was you had Sail and Inkable, and you had like a few other uninkables in hand. So you'd ink the inkable, play the Sail, and ink another one, and then it would draw an uninkable. And now you're in a spot where you're top decking ink for the rest of the game until you can reset it with a wheel, which is before you had Tipo, where you could start cleaning that hand up a little bit, or Mickey, who was just ramped by playing it, and you got, in a sense, you got an uninkable out of your hand because you got to play it. And the body as well. I think Tremaine's just going to be hugely back, especially with all of these ward characters. I think it's going to be such an important card again.
Yeah, if we
Yeah,
start
I
seeing
would agree.
Beefing and Tremaine, then
Mm.
yeah, we're gonna have to focus in on like, can we actually afford to play a 2-drop ramp spell that doesn't give us a body?
Yeah, yeah. The 1/3 on the board is actually really quite impactful. And yeah, another card that I put a video up just like actually like 30 minutes ago from this. I recorded it. Was about the gym card, the 2-cost one, which I reread and reread it again and realized the challenger doesn't stick, and I thought it stuck, and I was like, this card would be insane, but it's only for that turn, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah. But I feel even being able to threaten a 4/4 at any point. I mean, for trading wise, that's awesome. Location wise, I thought maybe just having that on board would threaten enough to say, if you play a location, I'm going to probably be able to clear it. I don't know why I'm so heavy on clearing locations. I just think it's a really weak spot in Blue Steel that we need to sort of basically improve in set six if we're looking to improve the deck each time.
Yeah, I agree. I think one of our, aside from locations, one of our weakest spots is like the aggressive decks, especially with Daisy.
Mm.
Like we were not killing that for 3-4 turns, and now we have an actual option to shore up that weakness.
Yeah, if we're to go port Jim into Quill and then we now have a body that can just kill a Daisy, I guess that is on turn 3, but it's still not the worst thing in the world, and we set the Quill up and we're actually playing on our curve. So that's another card I'm really hyped for. But again, in testing, we just found a lot of red players just brawl it.
Yeah, and
No,
Yeah,
yeah,
you
it's
know,
not for red decks, right?
no.
yeah, not for red decks, but also if they do brawl it, like I'm totally fine with them brawling
Mm,
my gem. You know, it's gonna save in the wheel version. It's saving a Flaversham from that, right? That's good news for us.
mm,
Or maybe it saves a Smee later on against red blue if they've got like ice block and brawl. It's it's one less removal that they've got for that sort of thing. But yeah, I think gem just shores up a lot of the early game weakness of our deck. So I'm very excited about that. I could tell a quick story from a testing game that I've had so far. I
yeah.
thought it was hilarious. Um, my opponent was on Blurple, and he had multiple Hades down already, and I had 3 gems. I had a Fishbone Quill, and I had just wheeled the previous turn, and he had exerted his Hades. I drew into another Fishbone Quill, played the Fishbone Quill, inked 3 times, and took out all of his Hades with my gems.
That's
Jeez.
great.
Uh,
Yeah. He's going to be a real powerhouse of a card. I'm quite excited to see it in testing. And as you say, it's kind of like how Cheechas felt in No Wheel. If you're going to brawl a Cheecha, I'm sort of fine with that because you know my next turn's going to be a Hiram, and you're
mhm.
probably not going to have a brawl for that. And you didn't get to play a Sisu on that turn, or you didn't get to do anything impactful on that turn. You just brawled a 2-drop. So overall, yeah, it's not a bad spot to be in.
Yeah.
And the other card I've got one more card I want to mention, and then if ever of you got anything to mention, is Twinfire. Yet again, another card where I'm just like, this is the worst. And even just before this call, I asked you guys one question, and I went, oh, this card's really good again, because I realized the second half of it is a May trigger. But yeah, I mean, I'm on the fence about that. Again, even actually before this call, I said you realize you have to pick 2 targets, so you can't twin fire a daisy or anything like that. And even still, would you want to pay 2 ink, discard a card to kill a 1-drop? Probably not. So, does you think that card becomes a blue steel staple or it enters the deck?
It's got potential. I think which is probably the most fascinating part about set 6 for us as blue steel players is there's so many cards that we can say that about, and I would say in the last 2 sets that number has been
Mm,
less than like 4 cards total per set
Yeah,
that we looked at and was like, yeah, that's got potential. This one, I don't know, 10 cards maybe
mm,
could be good enough to make our
I think
deck.
so.
yeah, sure. I,
Windfire, I feel I'm still on the fence about it because there's lines where it could be insane, right? So, Chernobog, Flynn, um, aggro starts without Daisy. Um, I think I doubt it becomes a staple. I don't think it's wildly good.
mm,
I mean, it could change based off testing, but I think going forward from here, I would like to try 2 fire the cannons and 1 twin fire
mm.
and see how that works out.
I think for steel maths as well, if you were to grab your swords aboard, then use twin fire. So now you're going to be doing 4 damage to 2 characters. That's just good,
Right.
and that's kind of how steel removal's always been. You have to maths it up and say like grab your swords tink will do X Y Z damage, and then I need to continue on from there. But yeah, I think it possibly has potential. But as you say, the most exciting thing about set 6 for blue steel is that we're actually getting cards we can test and say, is this good? Whereas in set 5, we were like scraping the barrel. We were literally like, this set 1 or set 2, what is it? Kronk card. Guys, do we think Kronk is
Fuck
viable now?
yeah.
And we were just like putting that in lists because we were like, we didn't get any cards, but we need new answers. So we'll just try anything out.
We were
Uh,
Yeah.
terrified of Steel Song.
yeah, we were
Like
terrified
maybe
of it.
Kronk will do it.
Yeah, maybe this
I'm,
set 2 Kronk card will be the answer. Yeah.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm still terrified of Steel Cell.
It's okay. I am too.
I did like after Seattle as I managed to get a few 2-0s and I was just messaging Jack Shadow, another 1-2-0. You were like, how are you doing this?
Bullying it.
But they do get to like 17 lore like every game because
Yeah.
whilst they're daisying, you're like, hold on, I need to play a Popsicle this turn and pass. And it's just so
Hey,
demoralizing.
stop. Let me ramp.
Yeah, I need to quill on this turn and your turn, and then they double daisy Pete. And you oh god, this is horrible. But yeah, overall I think that matchup can scrap a bit. And of course I've been on the no wheel version where if you get through that early start and you get to the Simba and the Hades, it doesn't feel too bad.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
still so. I mean, we're. Do you think we'll be ending up as one of the like top tier meta decks like it was in set 4, where we were sort of pretty much tier 1? I think we were one of the top decks. Do you think we're ending up like that in set 6?
That's a good question. I'm gonna
I
give
that probably. Sorry, go ahead.
so my response to that is our deck is easily targeted to make it like you can very specifically put in cards to beat our deck. We
Mm.
just haven't ever been worth the effort before.
It's a fair statement.
So if we become meta, like let's say, Blue Steel wins EU Continentals, right? Then I expect that people will target it heavily and it'll do really poorly in NA Continentals.
Hmm. Yeah, I know what you mean. There was entirely like was it sorry Ruby Sapphire could easily target us and just wipe us out, but they don't because why would they? We're barely around. You might get one round of us at an event, and in a sense they're still favored even if they don't target us. So yeah, we've
Right.
always had that under the radar benefit of no one's bothering with us. But I've seen a lot of people really interested in Blue Steel this set, and I think it's because people want to be using steel removal rather than ruby, and of course sapphire's just broken as a color, so they thought let's go to blue steel. But yeah, I could see us easily rocking in at the tier 1.5, 2 tier, our home where we seem to where we seem to live.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it'll depend on the power level of these new cards they get. Like, I mean, some people are trying Oswald too, right? So the
Mm,
the power level of those cards will determine that, I think, and also how strong red blue ends up being and how strong go go ends up being. I think will change how strong we are.
yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a good way to direct into the question of set 6, like any other cards besides the ones I've mentioned are you interested and you think will shape the meta? I mean, I think we all think Go-Go is a nuts card. I don't know why they print that. It's just too much.
It's
And it
crazy.
punishes you for playing any character that has a high amount of health. But if it's not going to be meta defining, it's not going to be in all lists. We don't have to worry about it too much. But yeah, is there any set 6 cards that you guys are really on your mind?
I really want to break Speedway somehow. The finishing line in Amber. I don't know how, but I would like to. That sounds so fun.
Does the gym not work with that when you play gym and bring it out?
No, because you have to move something from another location. So it has to
Ah,
start at a
okay.
location, then come to the finish line.
Is there a tuk
Yeah.
tuk that lets you move for free?
Yeah, there's a
Mhm.
3 drop, I think it is, that you can
Yeah,
move Tuk Tuk and another character for free.
yeah.
If you already have Jim somewhere and like he's already
Oh,
on a
he gets to move for
location,
free, doesn't
then
he?
it works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so like you can on 5 you can play Jim, pull out whatever random location. Next turn drop the Speedway and he gets to move for free.
Yeah.
I'm sure
So
that will.
So
I'm sure that will be tried because we did have Talman Purple's location build that, let's be honest, was pretty alright. Like I saw that a lot of store champs when it first came out of nowhere. And this just looks like they
I
got a lot of support for it.
I think that list would have been much bigger if Green Steel wasn't the way that it was.
Yeah, yeah. And the green steel's not going anywhere. Like they're
Yeah.
still all their cards are amazing. So I don't think that's going anywhere at all. But is there any other cards at all that you guys are?
well, I want your Bad Vegas. I want your Amber Ruby location list to work out because I just want to play Wreck-It Ralph. These guys know. I've been
He-
posted about looking for a Wreck-It Ralph. Like, okay, it took them 6 sets to
Yeah.
get the flavor of Wreck-It Ralph right. Like you go back, you watch
Yeah.
that movie, and what does Wreck-It Ralph do? He just wants to wreck it. He wants to break these locations. It took him 6 sets to get Wreck-It Ralph to wreck it. So now he's here. We're wrecking it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't
You have
miss that.
any other cards, Jax? I don't know if you've told me any other specific like even outside of Blue Steel.
You've got
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Go-Go,
yeah.
you've got Shark Maui, the Basil. These are all the cards that I know are getting hype, but do
I
you
think
guys
Basil sucks.
you think Basil sucks? Whoa,
I think
okay.
Basil
Hot,
sucks.
We're gonna clip
hot
that
take.
for when it wins Continentals.
Someone's gonna someone's gonna click that and be like, "Yo, Vegas,
Yeah.
what do you gotta
What,
say?"
what are you saying about us? I think
When you
it's
win Continentals with it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there you
yeah.
go.
I think it might be in that I don't know. I look at it the same way that we looked at the Clarabelle Cow card. It's like I can see it's good, but just does it fit anywhere? And I'm
Yeah.
sure it will find home in some lists, but yeah, I don't know. Blue green, they might give that a good college try again and realize it doesn't work. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Uh, I'm excited about
Yes.
Tigger, actually.
Oh yeah,
The
Tigger. Yeah.
redrop Tigger in Ruby.
Oh, what does that
I'm
do
ex-
again? Sorry.
Every time you play an action, it gains +1 strength and +1 lore for the turn, and it's a
Oh, okay.
0/1 evasive.
Kind of like a could work with the Shark Maui card then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think there's some interesting things there that I want to play around with at some point.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I mean, as we talk with Blue Steel players, we look at what the meta is going to do and what people are going to play, and we go, great, well, we'll play Zeus then. If the if Basil and Shark Maui
Guess we're
were
going back to Zeus.
yeah, if
Yeah.
Basil and Shark Maui go cards, we're like, well, great, we get to use Zeus again because they've got 5 health and we can cleanly remove it, and that's pretty much what we do. I mean, we did this in the last set. We just looked at what everyone else was playing and looked at what the best answers would be to that, and looks like Arthur was one of a really good one for you two guys, which I only
That card's
tried in
good,
no
bro.
will. I only tried in no will because I didn't have any copies of Hades, and he was fun for that amount of time.
It
Um,
was fun.
He
yeah,
was.
3 Quester as well. He's a strong card. Um,
Yeah.
all right, guys. Well, yeah, it looks like we talked about set 6. But is there anything else you guys want to add at all, or I'll wrap up the video now?
Should we each do a hot take besides
Oh,
Vegas's hot take?
I've already given a hot take.
yeah, a hot take and what will win Continentals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh,
All right, you go
that's
first,
a
Jack
call. That's
Shadow.
so early for a call like that.
I know.
Okay.
Well, people love this stuff. Jack
Yeah.
Shadow,
People
you
love
go
it, right?
first. A hot
It's
take.
Okay.
it's something that involves Go-Go, I think.
Okay.
That card's just wild.
You can't even beat it. It's so nuts.
Yeah.
Jet Shadow, yeah. Do you want to give us your hot take on what you think will win?
All right. Hot take. I think the new Gantu is going to replace Ariel in Blue Steel
Oh
decks.
my!
There's my
I
hot
like this
take.
guy. I
That's
like
not a
this
hot
guy.
take. That's a boiling take. That's like molten
All
lava
right.
take.
All right, and then prediction for
I'm actually
continental
shocked by
winner.
that.
He's flabbergasted, man.
I mean, so we've had 4 total DLCs in NA get taken down by discard, so I'm gonna go with a discard deck. Um, but I'd love to see something crazy like brewing up Ruby Steel aggro. That's looking pretty strong this set, boys.
You want a Atlanta situation where this yellow purple just comes out of nowhere and takes the whole thing?
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
It
fair.
could happen. I think the players who qualified are really analyzing, who made cut, what they would play, where the meta's going, and you might have some really discard targeted mono purple mess that's like gonna take the entire event.
Uh-huh.
But yeah,
That is cool. If a mono purple deck wins Continentals, I will quit Lorcana forever.
I think all content creators will have to delete all of their stuff. Like every player has to just be like, no, we don't know anything about Lorcana if mono
Yeah.
purple wins it. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Bad Vegas, do you want to do another bad take, hot take?
Wow.
Do you want to do another hot
Brutal.
take and who
Another
you think's gonna win? I'm joking.
Another hot take. I think it's just I just think it's go-go. Like
Mm.
I guess there are some interesting like red purple has some interesting possibilities, I think, but I don't know how it'll stack up against this card.
Mm. Yeah.
Because like the red purple burn that Warp took was clearly killing all the decks, but I don't. I guess I just don't understand how that deck would beat Green Steel.
Yeah, I think Green's even Steel Song it feels a bit touch and
Yeah,
go maybe.
I think you said that. Yeah.
But in Blue Steel it feels like they just take advantage of we're a Sapphire deck, and kind of ignores the whole aspect of us being Steel as well. 'Cause that deck I 2-1 it at best, and I have to win the die roll. You know,
Right.
yeah, I can't seem to beat it. Um, okay, do
What's
you
your hot
think?
take?
What do you think's gonna win Continentals again? Sorry.
I just said I think it's gonna be something with Go-Go, so
Oh,
something
okay,
green.
something go. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, we've all talked about Go-Go too much, and I just think it's Go-Go is my hot take. That card is just nuts. It punishes anyone for playing bigger characters, and like Tamatoa, and even Simba would be punished. Hiram is enough to be punished. You can 4x that thing. It's utterly mad. I think maybe my hot take is that Sail the Azurite Sea will just fall away, and we'll stick with Mickey or Tippo. And that's more of a lukewarm take, but I think
Yeah.
it might just, we've got these decks for so long, we know Mickey or Tippo, or even one jump ahead, let's work, and it just feels like Cassell doesn't ink an uninkable, we might end up going, oh, this card just, I don't want it. Um, I mean, like Ruby Sapphire as well, like they run with 21 uninkables, they really value inking uninkables, don't they? So even for them, it kind of feels a bit clunky, and could end up getting them one ink and then just break the game. So yeah, I think that's my hot take that card's actually just going to fall away and we're going to forget about it. I'm going to be proven wrong, I know, because someone told me there's a Magic card exactly like that and it's in every ramp deck. But I don't play Magic, so I
Yeah.
don't know.
I mean, it's clearly a good card. It's just
Mm,
does it fit in Blue Steel at least how it is currently?
yeah.
And I think we want Quill almost every game.
We pick Quill
So
over any of the other ramp options anyway, so
right.
it's just
So
an
it just depends
alternative.
on if just the cycle makes it better than
Yeah.
playing a character.
And
I guess we'll see.
I think what's going to win either of the Continentals is um, a deck that's just heavily targeted on what people expect to bring. And I think right now a lot of players are looking at Blue Steel, just through the reactions I've seen online and everything, because they think that's the deck that targets Green Steel the best. But I think on top of that, we're just going to get some, Ruby Sapphire, Ruby Amethyst, Pirate's Life level discard cheese deck that's only going to work for one event, and it's probably not going to work in the actual meta.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's I can't think of it, but it's probably going to be purple and something else as well. So it's just going to draw cards and remove stuff. Maybe it's a purple still. I think that's what will take it in the end. But yeah, well,
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of good stuff said there, and people are really going to enjoy that. So thank you very much, both of you,
Yeah.
for coming on and having a
Thanks for
chat.
having us.
Yeah.
Any
Thank you.
shout outs at all? Anything you two would like to sign off with?
Shout out
Yeah.
to
Oh, we are wearing this. Wow.
shout out to that.
Yep.
Shout out to that. Yeah. All
Shout
right.
out to that.
All right, guys. Thank you very much.